Sup, you chucklefucks? It's your boy Dark Raku here with What If Issei was a Gunslinger and a Martial Arts Master Part 7. Now, before I continue on, I know what you people are thinking. Oh my god, it's Part 7! At least this series is going on well. Unlike your others, there's fucking... you haven't continued. Well, I'll be saying, I am still continuing them on. I don't know why, I just wanted to do this. What if? Okay, leave me alone. But not the point. I should also mention one thing. So part 6 was like uploaded like 12 hours ago. I already rewatched mostly part 6. And I could have done it like something like 6 hours ago. Because it was 4 hours ago when I was kind of watching it. And of course, I could have like uploaded at that time. I could have recorded and other things. I felt lazy. I felt so damn dead tired, and I was just like, I already ate. Like we already went to a restaurant. That's why I didn't like made the what if too long. I only made it for like 33 minutes somewhere around there. So that's why I had to kind of say I had to go, and I couldn't really do this for 1 hour. So of course, mostly I already ate and other things. So of course, I was so damn tired, and I couldn't sleep for when we came back home. I couldn't sleep, so I thought I could like maybe do a what if before probably passing out. No, I kind of went to sleep at like somewhere around 6. 2, 3, 4 hours before any of that. But whatever. I found out one thing about my body. If I don't get enough sleep, I'm not hungry, and I should probably not go to a goddamn restaurant. Yeah, but not the point. I'm rambling on right now. I'm sorry, guys. Let me just begin to what if, and let me shut the fuck up. No recap, no nothing, and let me begin. Now, we begin into Issei, kind of talking to the girls. Now, of course, mostly Mira, Moriyama, and even Catherine are kind of just asking him, and where exactly they will be going on a date. And Issei is internally screaming inside his body because, inside his head mostly, because, he has no clue how to actually, he has a clue. It's just one problem. He has already had the experience of going on a date. It's just his mind really just wanted to erase that idea because he hated that fact. He's internally screaming if he should do the exact same thing as his original date before he died and turned into a devil, before everything changed in his life because he wanted to change into the better person. Or let me say that. Or should he change it and like fucking go in a different style of dating? Of course, he just doesn't really know, and of course, dating 4 girls at once is going to be quite interesting, because he never did this. Literally, maybe with just Yuma, he did it just one girl, not 4 at the same time. This is where, Issei is internally screaming inside, and this is where, Issei says, I definitely need help. Who is the best role model in my life that I can actually, ask? This is where, mostly a dragon inside him is kind of snoring and kind of saying, mostly not snoring, mostly coughing and says, you can always ask me. Issei ignores Diedrich. This is where Issei says, I could always ask, my uncle? I can always ask, mostly his uncle is actually named, Isaiah, I'm gonna call him Isaiah. And this is where, Isaiah, Zan. You want to call him Zan? Listen, mostly Issei says, I can always ask, Uncle Zan? No. Maybe, had he ever went with multiple girls in one date? I mean, his relationship with, mostly my aunt, her name is, So her name is Cindy, and this is where, Issei says, I mean, their relationship is pretty good. I just don't know if my uncle's ever a playboy. I definitely know that my father wasn't a playboy because, that motherfucker doesn't even know about the existence about martial arts or even the power of the wrong card. Yeah. Who should I ask? Damn it. I don't really have a clue on how to go on with this. Would they have a clue? He looks up, mostly out of his thoughts, and look at the girls, and the girls are kind of just talking. Of course, they are kind of blushing. Well, mostly Moriyama's blushing because she's actually having to go on a date with 4 other girls. Or mostly she's going on a date with her kind of middle school crush, and of course with her friend, her kind of new friend, and of course her best friend. And this is where, well, she's going on a kind of date with also someone named Micah. This is where, well, someone that Issei kind of likes, and actually is his first girlfriend. This is where, well, mostly Moriyama is so saddened that the fact that she isn't the first one, but of course the second one. Of course, she's still happy and glad that at least she actually has a spot for Issei's heart. But this is where, well, she doesn't know what to do. This is where, well, Issei is right now kind of looking at this, and this is where, well, he noticed how Moriyama is kind of feeling uncomfortable, but of course glad to at least have friends kind of coming along. And this is where, well, Issei then thinks about it and says, how would Micah actually feel? I haven't actually considered her feelings. I know that she's shy, sometimes doesn't really like being with other people, but of course, where, well, mostly in her psychotic side, I think just didn't really care about any of it. Damn it. I wonder how these girls will feel about mostly Micah's psychotic and mostly shy side. Both of her personalities. Damn it. Whatever. This is where, well, Issei then kind of gets up. This is where, well, he was sitting down, and this is where he gets up and says, Moriyama, Catherine, and Mira. This is where, well, they look up and says, yes. This is where, well, let me say this again. Moriyama has kind of brownish eyes, brownish eyes, while Catherine has also brownish eyes, and Mira also has what's it called, the color of mostly, I think, brownish eyes. Wait. So Mira also has kind of like these brownish eyes, and this is where they look up and says yes. This is where, well, Issei kind of just sees them and says, okay, let me be absolute honest with you. I don't really have that much experience with going on a date. This is where, well, Issei just decided to admit the truth. This is where, well, they both nodded. Of course, they already know about Issei's considered death, about the fact that he did say that he did go on a date just to get killed by a fallen angel, then resurrect to a devil, and then his life changes because, well, he didn't really tell the full story, but yeah, mostly he just tell the basic. This is where, well, mostly, well, Moriyama, Catherine, and Mira nodded. This is where, well, Issei says, I'm just going to go into the conclusion that you girls don't even know about anything on a date. And I don't actually know about planning it because I don't really want to remember that day. So, do you want to actually plan the date instead of me? This is where, well, Issei kind of asked them. This is where, well, they mostly looked surprised and actually thought that Issei was actually going to plan it. And this is where, well, they do know about Issei's traumatized a little bit against, well, mostly his ex-girlfriend. And this is where, well, mostly they just say, This is where, well, Moriyama gets up and then just hugs and says, I mean, it's anything just fine. You can do the same just like your original date, but if you don't want to think about going towards the park and the fountain, we can go somewhere else. This is where, well, Issei was surprised and then thought about it. And then this is where, well, Issei sighs and says, it's fine. This is where, well, Issei says, I might change up some things on our date, but yeah. I might not also want to go into a bunch of crowded places because mostly mostly Micah is someone that doesn't really like going into a bunch of crowd. She is quite shy and nervous, so please be nice to her. This is where Issei said. This is where, well, Issei also did mention that she does have a disorder kind of personality. She has 2 different personalities. This is where, well, he explains that she has a cute, shy side, which Issei explained in those words, while Moriyama gets kind of annoyed a little bit. But of course, where she nodded. Of course, where Issei in her other side is kind of psychotic and murderous at the time. This is where, well, Moriyama gets unnerved, but then just nodded. This is where, well, Issei says, just try to deal with that. Sorry. And this is where, well, mostly Moriyama says, why did you even went out with her? This is where, well, Issei can say, how should I say? This is where, well, mostly D-Drake right now looks into a memory that mostly Issei was very fond of. Is mostly Micah being on top of him while Issei was kind of like laying down from mostly a, what's it called, exhaustion kind of mission that he was tired, and of course he was in bed while Micah was mostly on top of him near his crotch, and of course mostly kind of not really doing the deed, but of course she was being psychotic at that time. Issei got kind of turned on from that fact, but yeah. This is where Dietrich says, I wonder how the fuck he even fell for her. But yet, I can guess from the cute side and probably the psychotic side, she was quite seductive in her psychotic side. This is where, well, Dietrich is saying, damn it, how's my host already getting almost a harem here? This is where, well, Dietrich just thinks, damn it, he's not using my power. He's not asking me questions. He didn't even thought of asking me for any power. He's only saying that he's only wanting to use his own power, but that's not the point. The fact that he is my host and yet he doesn't like ask me, talk to me, or any of that, it's really annoying me. It's also annoying the fact that mostly annoying me also the fact that he hasn't used a boosted gear at all. He's been saying that he only has a twice critical. I feel like he would lie to the white one if he could. I hope the white one doesn't actually get full. Whoever the white one is, I hope they don't just get full from, what's it called, Issei's trickery. Yeah, whatever. This is where, well, mostly, Dietrich decides to say, damn it, host. If only you used my power, you would get more girls than just these 4 girls. You could have, like, used my power in the rating games and then everyone would have been flocking towards you. Damn it. Why did I get stuck in a host who literally just doesn't see me? Well, sees me as a person, but as an annoying person. Damn it, we're not even compatible. Should I leave this host? No, he is the strongest. Maybe I can get him to talk around. Maybe, This is where Dietrich is wondering how to even talk to Issei about this. Of course, he noticed that Issei doesn't actually... Well, he does go to hand-to-hand combat, but of course... He also uses guns, which mostly Dietrich has never had a host that actually uses guns in the first place. Either modern guns and either magical guns or at all. Also daggers, that's the point. He has had some hosts that had used daggers, mostly knives, or even what's it called, like kunais or any of that. He has some users that use swords, some magic, but never guns or even martial arts, or that at the same time. This is where, well, mostly Dietrich is saying, what to do. This host is strong, powerful, and could probably rival any of the, what's it called, or probably can rival that of my strongest hosts if he actually decides to use a bit of the power of boosting. Let's work, well, mostly Dietrich says, damn it. And I don't really have any skills to actually give him, like, swords. Well, I mean, he is a swordsman, but he doesn't use the sword too much. He uses guns. Damn it. He's quite skilled with every gun. Even can build them on his own. Damn it, I should really try to talk to him. But that's not the point here, Tara. We go into now Issei, kind of, well, mostly looking at the girls. And, of course, just waving bye towards them. Because he's now having to kind of go home. Or mostly... He's going to his, like, next class. He does see Matsuda, which he had to pick him up and just drag his ass. Of course, all the girls from the classroom, or mostly the group, the club, mostly started waking up. Mostly the ones that were captured from Matsuda. And of course, they were kind of waking up and confused and what exactly happened. And of course, mostly Moriyama, Catherine, and even Mira had to kind of explain what exactly happened. Some of the girls were horrified to actually understand that the supernatural was actually real. But this is where, well, when Mira, even Moriyama, and Catherine decide to explain that what they got saved from was not from them exactly, but from mostly Issei. Of course, I explained that Issei is one of the most powerful supernatural beings because, well, he's actually considered to be human now instead of devil because he did explain that he's actually a free person, no longer a part of the devil barrage or whatever. Because they can't feel his demonic energy anyway. This is where, well, they kind of just say that he's one of the most powerful humans right now. And of course, decide to save him from mostly Matsuda being under control of something. Now, of course, they explain that mostly if they want to forget about the supernatural, they will have to use magic to make them forget. Or they can stay in the whole, like, supernatural. They can actually keep the supernatural in mind, but then have to kind of keep it a secret. This is where, well, some of them decide not to actually want to leave the club because mostly, yes, Moriyama and Catherine did ask them if some of them wanted to leave. So, of course, mostly a lot of girls actually want to stay, like, mostly all of them actually wanted to stay. Of course, they were quite very thankful for the fact that Issei Kun, mostly a lot of them call him Kun now, but of course actually decided to help, and of course actually stop Masuda. This is where, well, they're confused in how he actually stopped mostly Matsuda's rampage, but of course they're just thinking that he just came out of nowhere and become badass. Which it wasn't, I mean, it was entirely the case, because Issei did kind of just use his sword and then fucking cut off the, mostly the dark tentacles, and then just shot him with mostly, turning his sword into the gun for a second. He can actually do that, but yeah, just to, let me say again. Just so he can actually make the settle much tinier. With the guns are actually, mostly the guns, if he goes into that form, he can actually transform the settles into being whatever shape he wants to. Mostly if he just uses normal settles, they're quite big most of the time if he doesn't use the gun. He can actually use a bit, but it won't be as strong as mostly using the gun to just make them stronger. But that's not the point here or there. But we go into mostly Issei getting towards mostly his next class. He's going to robotics, and this is where, well, because it was kind of like 5th and 6th hour that he was ditching someone. So yeah, he's going to 7th hour, and this is where, well, he sees, well, mostly Mr. Johnson. This is where Mr. Johnson is explaining and what exactly is happening, because, well, see, Issei got there about like 10 minutes late. This is where, well, Mr. Johnson says, you're finally here, Issei. This is where, well, Issei says, sorry about that, Mr. Johnson. I went to the bathroom, and, well, mostly, how should I say it? I went to the bathroom, and there was a lot of motherfuckers just there, mostly fighting. This is where he's throwing fucking Angel and Jorge again under the bus, because they do that half the time. They just throw hands wherever. But whatever, this is where, well, he says, and I couldn't use the fucking bathroom in silence, so I had to get out of the bathroom, beat their ass, and then go back inside the bathroom, so that's why it took 10 minutes. This is where, well, mostly Mr. Johnson says, fuck it, I'll take it. I can understand that, because Mr. Johnson has what's it called Angel and even what's it called Jorge in a different hour, and he already knows about both of them just fighting half the time. They'll be throwing hands half the time, even if they're on a group project and they fucked mostly each other's robots, or mostly they fucked with the robots on some stupid occasion, they decide to start just throwing hands at each other. But yeah, mostly Mr. Johnson says, well, sit down, so you have actually an assigned group. You say, assigned group? Wait, what? Yeah, I forgot to mention this. Well, not really mention, you got here late, so I had to put you in a group. This is where, well, Issei says, you could have put me by myself. This is where Issei says, this is where Mr. Johnson says, no. I know how you act when you're by yourself. Literally, you be hearing music, not really wanting to talk to anyone, and really just finish the robot pretty fast. But this time, I decided to take the liberty and put you on a team. Wait, what? This is where, well, Issei says, well, mostly Mr. Johnson says, basically you're on a team with 4 other people. Issei says, and who are they? Well, it's on mostly group 5 over there. This is where Issei says, which one is it? This is where, well, there's like 5 different tables, and this is where, well, mostly there's a table of, what's it called, 1, that's mostly a bunch of guys, and like 1 girl, and this is where, well, table 2 is like mostly a couple of students, mostly they're all nerds somewhat. Table 3 is mostly a group of mostly just these delinquents somewhat. Table 4 is mostly a group of what's it called, somewhat just other females, but they're just really, it's just like really not caring, them doing makeup and other stuff. And then table 5 is, well, a bunch of girls, and of course he's the only guy in that group. This is where Issei says, wait, what? This is where, well, mostly the table isn't like girls that are doing makeup. They actually are kind of researching somewhat. This is where, well, mostly Mr. Johnson says, so yeah, you'll be on that table. This is where, well, Issei says, I can do this by myself. What is exactly we're going to be doing? This is where, well, Mr. Johnson says, no. It might take you too long, so I decided to take the liberty to doing this with other people. You know, you got to talk to people. This is where Issei says, come on, Mr. Johnson, give me a bone out here. Like, fetch me a bone here. I am not going to talk to people, especially with. This is where Issei said, those girls. You already know my reputation. Since I am a pervert, people don't like me. This is where Mr. Johnson says, well, you realize that your perverted status has had you changed to badass loner. This is where, well, mostly Issei says, fuck. Damn, I forgot about that status. This is where Mr. Johnson says, oh, whatever, Issei. Now, you're gonna have to go sit with them, so go talk to them, go do your project. This is where he says, can I actually know what robot we're actually doing? This is where, well, Mr. Johnson says, okay, fine. We're going to, this is mostly the feel. Mostly he shows like a feel of mostly an obstacle course. And this is where, well, he says that you have to build a robot with your team. He specifically said team, very loud for Issei, to save people. Save these like little figures, and also like this giant, mostly like, it's mostly like this plushy, like, it looks like a robot plushie. It's like a red robot plushie that's on top of mostly like this block building. And this is where, well, he also says this red one right here would be 100 points. The other ones would be like at least 5 points. You have to get a score of over 200 to, what's it called, pass, or mostly not 200, mostly 125 to pass. The maximum points would be 250. This is where, well, Issei says, I see. You know, I could have done this all by myself. This is where Mr. Johnson says, Issei, team. This is where, well, Issei says, no, why did you put me with a bunch of girls? You could have even put me with the goddamn nerds. I would have been fine. This is where Mr. Johnson says, yeah, I could have done that. But I wanted my little revenge from the fact that you, how should I say, well, you remember that last presentation, presentation that you had to do, you know, those 2 weeks before you got suspended, or mostly, you remember that, right? He says, yeah, I showed up. Yeah, but you didn't have your camera on. He says, I didn't want to have my camera on, okay? Let me alone. I am shy. This is where, well, I even told you to turn on your camera. You basically look like a Kashi Hatake from goddamn Naruto. He says that if I still showed my face, kinda halfly, but that's not the point. This is where, oh, you had shades on. This is where he used to say, it was sunny out there. You were inside your room. This is where he used to say, it was bright in my room. This is where, well, Mr. Johnson says, but still I gave you 100 on that day. Even though you took a little long. He says that I have something to do. My parents were complaining, annoying me. That wasn't even the real reason. It was basically Issei going on a mission and taking a while. And this is where he had to rush back to the house because, well, he forgot about the presentation entirely. And the reason why he looked completely different, mostly, is because he was still in his outfit, his assassination outfit. This is where, well, Mr. Johnson says, go to your team and do the project. Okay, Issei, you only have like 45 minutes. Go with your team. He said, please, Mr. Johnson, I beg of you, let me be by myself. This is where Mr. Johnson says, no. Go suffer or something. He says, you monster. Mr. Johnson just walks away and says, good luck. This is where, well, he says, why? This is where he falls down to the ground and kind of just like on his knees and say, why? This is where, well, he says, sighs and just gets up. This is where he dusts himself off. And this is where, well, he sighs and decides to pull up one of the chairs that were on the table, or mostly not on the table, like near the table. And of course, this is where he sits down. Already has his own computer. Besides, he just grabbed one of the Chromebooks or whatever. And this is where, well, he is right now just typing it, well, logging in entirely. And this is where, well, he's right now typing. And this is where, well, he's doing his own research. This is where, well, just so he can actually have an idea on how to build this robot by himself and not by his team. Because first of all, he's not really entirely saying fuck this team, but he just doesn't really want to be near anyone. He's always a loner. He's a loner when there's no other friends that he can talk to, because he'd rather be talking to either, what's it called? So, oh wait, wrong thing. So he wanted to talk to mostly either Jigo, freaking Angel, Jorge, or even Tyrone. Even if Angel will always be trying to fight him, at least he will actually manage to knock him out and do his project by himself. But with these people, mostly these girls, there are 4 girls entirely. One has kind of blackish long hair and kind of like these reddish eyes. And someone does golf outfit. Mostly, yes, you can have any type of clothes in Mr. Johnson's mostly classroom, because he really doesn't care about the uniform. Other things, like the only time that either the student council will show up will be whatever. But he would just explain that mostly these clothes are comfortable enough for them not to get dirty. He just basically makes some random bullshit so the student council will not bother him too much. But yeah. because he feels like a bunch of students should freely be able to wear whatever in his classroom, just so yeah they can stay in his classroom, so they won't just walk away and get caught or whatever, and then have to explain why they're getting or they're ditching or whatever. Now, he only gives what's it called Issei usually a freebie, and why usually Issei gets late is because he knows he's usually ditching what's it called 5th and 6th hour, because Issei does that. He knows that Issei is not the type of person to usually stay in one classroom and deal with people that he doesn't like. So of course, this is where he knows that Issei also might ditch this class, but of course at least he won't get caught and be like throwing Mr. Johnson under the bus. But yeah, he will literally say that he goes to a different classroom because Issei is that smart. He's not stupid. Now, I should mention back to, well, mostly the different clothing that mostly these girls are wearing. So of course, one girl's with black kind of hair, reddish eyes. She does kind of have a face mask. This is where, well, she kind of has a goth outfit, and mostly she does have mostly this red rose. This is where, well, she noticed Issei, and of course Issei is just ignoring them entirely at all. He's having headphones right now, or mostly earbuds right now in his ear, and this is the song he's hearing right now being called, well. So it's basically the song called Voices, yeah, just Voices, and mode of, what's it called? Let me say again. So it's motionless in mostly in white, and of course this is where, well, he's right now hearing voices trapped in my head again. Well, mostly yeah, you get the point. I fucked it all up, but whatever. This is where he's hearing that, but we go into the other girl detail. Now, of course, there's that girl. Now there's another one, kind of what's it called? Just managed to glance at Issei, but decided to go back to looking at her screen. She has what's it called? Mostly the She also has a face mask near her face, mostly at the same time, but it kind of looks a little bit similar to that of Darth Vader. But of course, this is where, well, it's mostly white, and this is where, well, it's kind of like a breathing mask for her somewhat. And this is where, well, she also wears mostly like this crop top, mostly white kind of like, it's like a white like mostly like a sport bra. Of course, where, well, she also wears what's it called, like these black tight leggings, and this is where black shoes, but this is where, well, her black tight leggings do kind of like mostly hug her kind of figure. And this is where, well, she also kind of has like this purplish kind of short jacket that doesn't really cover her kind of like stomach too much, but yeah. This is where, well, any guy who actually glances at her will actually have a mad, mostly blood nose, and of course her voice is quite mostly gentle. I will mention this because mostly a lot of guys get hypnotized by her voice most of the time, but yeah. Now, there's also the, well, she does have kind of blackish hair, and of course mostly these color of eyes, purplish, I think so. Yeah, purple kind of magenta eyes is where, well, they're like dark purple, but yeah, like amethyst almost color, but yeah. The next one next to them is mostly a girl with kind of like shorter kind of like hair, of course, like white, snowy a little bit, but of course with some like highlights of yellow, and of course mostly it's not that snowy, it's also kind of had like highlights of like pinkish color or purplish a little bit. But this is where, well, she does have like these whitish color eyes, and this is where, well, she does also wear somewhat of like a goth outfit, and this is where, well, she's wearing mostly like this, like mostly like this somewhat, it's like a muscle shirt, but it's mostly like, it's black, but it's really not a muscle shirt, but yeah. Of course, mostly because of, it's mostly the girl version or whatever. And this is where, well, it's just black, and this is where it does hug her, kind of figure her nice kind of like chest and other things, mostly her opi. And this is where, well, she also wears mostly it does show off a bit of her stomach, but this is where, well, she's also wearing like black leggings similar to that of the other girl. She also has like these mostly earrings that are kind of like crosses, but they're upside down. And this is where, well, she's doing her kind of project, and this is where she did glance at Issei and just had a little bit of a blush, but yeah. Or, well, she also had a kind of choker, like a heart choker on her kind of neck, and this is where, well, mostly it wasn't a black tank top, but it was like a black kind of crop shirt, while also kind of having like this like fish kind of like fishnet near her kind of stomach, but yeah, they're showing a bit of her skin, but yeah. Well, not a bit, mostly a lot of skin, but not the point. This is where, well, mostly the next person is basically this girl with mostly, so the last one was mostly a blondish hair girl with mostly, bluish eyes. mostly dullish green eyes, and this is where, well, she had like mostly these goggles on top of her head, and this is where, well, she actually seems to be like the engineer, someone in this group, and this is where, well, she had like this like white kind of like somewhat like this white loose shirt. It was buttoned up, but of course it had like this pink kind of like, it was similar to that of a scarf, but not much. This is where, well, she also kind of wear like this pink kind of like mostly dress or skirt. And this is where, well, she was kind of looking at her kind of screen. Of course, she only glanced one up time because mostly she was wondering who exactly was the other person that mostly Mr. Johnson was talking about somewhat. That usually get here late or just doesn't care that much. This is where, well, she kind of glanced up and actually noticed it was actually none other than mostly the silent badass that mostly a lot of people call him. Most of the guys kind of either call him the silent badass because, well, he actually kicked the shit out of Angel and even Jorge one time, just because both of them pissed off mostly Issei. Or, of course, they just call him the lone wolf because, well, he just doesn't like talking to other people that isn't his actually friend group. And no, they're not talking about Matsuda or Morohama because Issei has proved multiple times that he will literally kill Matsuda or Morohama for the fact they're even close to him. Of course, even his friends are even telling his new friends are telling Matsuda and Morohama to fuck off. Either they would just hunt him for sportship. Now, of course, mostly sportship, and of course, just to kind of like beat the shit out of them. But yeah, and this is where, well, a lot of people just kind of call him different names. But yeah, some of them even call him the kind of like first Prince of Kubo, mostly because he is mostly quite more good looking than Kiba. But yeah. But of course, a lot of people still think that Kiba still looks better than Issei, but yeah. Of course, where, well, Issei's just looking at the screen. This is where, well, he has one of his eyes closed, and this is where, well, one of his other eyes is open, looking down at the screen right now, reading a bunch of, like, paragraphs and other things. This is where, well, he's also hearing music. The song that he's hearing now is mostly, what's it called? So the song was called, it was called, Somewhere Where I Belong. And of course, this is where, well, it's made by Alice, this people, but yeah, I've been featuring Robin Adamson, and I think it's just Adam, and in the description, whatever. Of course, it was just kind of going on. This is where, well, Issei did mumble some songs, but it wasn't loud enough for people to hear too much. But of course, he just mumbles, when this began, I had nothing to say, and I get lost in the nothingness inside of me. I was confused and let it all out. Yeah, you get the point, right? This is where, well, he was just kind of mumbling some words while he was kind of like looking to research and other things. And this is where, well, Issei now actually had the perfect idea to actually start on this, but of course he decides to just kind of pull out his notebook because yes, he does have his book bag, and this is where he pull out his notebook to just start drawing the details and what exactly he's actually going to do. And even if the other people who actually wants to kind of mostly design the robot entirely and what mostly they want to do, mostly Issei is already going to do it because he does this better alone. But of course, Mr. Johnson wants to torture him, but this is where, well, Issei kind of just had that coming, but whatever. This is where, well, mostly Issei starts drawing. This is where, well, he starts kind of designing what he's going to do. This is where he's still hearing the song, and this is where, well, he's kind of just shaking his head, trying to, well, see the design fully of what he's going to draw and other things, or mostly what he's going to do. And this is where, well, mostly, some of them were actually curious because they actually noticed Issei is already starting to draw, and of course, what design the robot he's going to do. But of course, he has to be, well, mostly in front of his computer, so of course, they can't really tell what exactly he's drawing. But of course, well, Issei is kind of moving his pencil really fast. Of course, having a pen next to him, mostly a red pen, and also a blue pen to actually detail some descriptions, or mostly just stuff, just so he can remember it. This is where, well, Issei just keeps drawing, of course, right now, trying to figure out what to do. This is where, well, he's like, mostly drawing it. He's right now just keeps drawing and of course just detailing using the blue pen and even red pen. It pretty much just looks like mostly a machine that actually goes on all four. Of course, it has 4 wheels, or it will have probably more because Issei doesn't know if he has to balance this entirely. But of course, it has this long extension kind of like arm, and of course this is where it also has like this like mostly claw machine kind of grip, mostly on top of this like long extension. He also put some like supports on the long extension, so it'll be stronger enough and reinforced, so the mostly the arm, the extension arm, wouldn't just fall down and break. This is where, well, Issei also kind of used some rope. This is where he kind of described it to use some metal wire, so it will actually be able to be much easier to kind of design for the like claw arm to, well, be able to move and grab the pedestrians, mostly not pedestrians, mostly the like civilians that should be in the, what's it called, mostly area. Of course, where, well, he also kind of made the kind of like grip arm to actually be able to twist from the side, mostly since it was kind of mostly going down to just grab things. It should be able to also twist to the other side, mostly to the uh forward side instead of being down, so forward. And this is where just to grab people much easier. And this is where, well, he's actually just detailing everything out real fast. And this is where, well, mostly all girls are actually curious in what exactly Issei is actually detailing out. Well, mostly kind of just detailing out the kind of mostly robots. He kind of just starts to keep drawing it. Of course, he mostly took 2 pages in his kind of notebook, or not 2 pages, 3 pages, and this is where, well, he just had to kind of design how it would look like. And this is where Issei would start, but he also felt like he had to rush to the bathroom because he really did lie about kind of going to the bathroom. This is where, well, Issei kind of asked Mr. Johnson if he can go to the bathroom real fast. This is where, well, Mr. Johnson says, fine, just hurry up. And also, don't try to ditch. Issei says, yeah, I'm not trying to ditch. This is where, well, Issei kind of just runs off. And this is where, well, mostly the 4 girls kind of looks at mostly Issei's stuff, just unoccupied. And this is where, well, they actually kind of get curious and kind of go towards mostly Issei's stuff. Now, of course, one of them actually did grab his notebook and enhancing. Of course, the other one kind of looks at mostly the website that Issei was on, and pretty much Issei was on a website none other than what's it called, YouTube. And yeah, this is where, well, he was pretty much just like watching some people from America has done similar stuff to this, but of course, mostly the design that he was doing isn't anything kind of mostly unoriginal. It's actually his an ordinary or mostly original idea. This is where, well, mostly they look at mostly the drawing and mostly all the videos that Issei has watched. And this is where, well, some of them are similar to that of the feel and what we're doing, mostly the rescue feel. But of course, Issei's own idea is to kind of make somewhere similar to that of like a claw machine kind of arm, just to grab the civilians. Now, of course, this is where, well, in his kind of like writing, he calls the civilians 2 different words: civilians, people that need help. Well, yeah, people that need help, and pathetic idiots. But yeah, or mostly just humans. But yeah, just because he just doesn't really care too much. Of course, the main priority is the one that's up there. That's actually worth like 100 points. It's where, well, he then kind of like calls that the golden prize. But yeah, he really has a humor where he just doesn't care about people that much. This is where, well, they keep like looking at mostly Issei's stuff, and of course they don't know exactly when Issei's gonna come back, but yeah. So of course they decide to kind of take a picture because they notice how Issei is quite quiet and silent, and they probably won't hear him talk too much. This is where, well, Mr. Johnson notices, and of course he really didn't say anything, but instead just decided to let this happen. So of course, whatever happens in the near future with Issei and the 4 girls, it will probably be funny for him, but yeah. Now, of course, he's just waiting for the torture for Issei. But we go into Issei kind of like going to the bathroom, using it real fast. Well, before using it real fast, he kind of sees Angel and even, what's it called, Jorge right now on the bathroom floor, kind of already beaten up from the fact they were hurt, from the fact they, like, knocked each other out. Issei would just walk past them and just uses the bathroom real fast. Washes up, and this is where, well, Issei then looks at his 2 friends. This is where, well, Issei sighs and just grabs mostly the water from mostly the sink and just splashes it on both of their faces. And this is where both of them say, oh, what happened? This is where Issei says, what the fuck are you 2 doing? This is where, well, they say, hey bro, we were just, what exactly happened? This is where, well, Issei says, I'm just guessing you 2 knock each other out. But whatever, I need to get back to class. Other than that, bye. This is where, well, Issei just kind of waves them off and just walks away. This is where, well, mostly on here and where he gets up and say, we should probably get to class also. This is where, well, on here says, agree. This is where they walk away and they just said, all those meals. But yeah. Oh no, all this meal, they just kind of walk away, kind of being dizzy, but yeah. This is where, Issei kind of runs back to the classroom, and this is where, Issei is just thinking to kind of finish on his, like, stuff, or mostly the design and other things, and just decide to sit there quietly while watching actual, like, YouTube videos of, like, mostly whatever, or just, yeah, you get the point. He usually would do this design and then, well, mostly like write or like draw and detail out the design. And then tomorrow he will actually start on the robotic project. He just needs to make sure that Mr. Johnson doesn't actually keep an eye on him entirely when he's doing it by himself. Because mostly Mr. Johnson would question if he is going to work with his team. Yay, you know, the people that he needs to work with? Yeah. This is where, well, mostly he's just really want to avoid that. He just doesn't really want to work with anyone. This is where, well, when Issei kind of opens the door, this is where, well, mostly, he sees his stuff, mostly, like, his, like, computer, and even his stuff, kind of being looked around by mostly the other girls. And of course, this is where, well, Issei noticed this really quick, and this is where, well, he gets annoyed instantly because he gets a tick mark, and this is where, well, Mr. Johnson noticed Issei coming back, and this is where, well, Mr. Johnson says, so, is this time you actually went to the bathroom? This is where he says, yes, and I actually met two idiots that were literally knocking each other out, but whatever. This is where, well, Issei walks towards the table in an instant right now, angrily annoyed. This is where, well, mostly Issei noticed that his book is being read by the girl with blondish hair, and this is where, well, she is right now kind of like looking at mostly the details, kind of reading it, and of course, just mostly kind of keep reading it because she's actually not confused, but of course, she's actually interested in the fact. But before she keeps reading it and going on to, well, not just keeps reading it, but also looking at the other details of robots that Issei has done, because she is kind of a new student to this, like, school. But of course, where, well, she was going to keep reading it, and of course, keep reading the past projects that Issei has done. This is where, well, before she even gets to kind of do that, Issei grabs her, well, mostly grabs a notebook from her hand in an instant. Issei that also looks at the computer from mostly the others, what they were doing. Because Issei also has what they call the music kind of playing through what's it called, the computer. Mostly there's like two YouTube tabs, mostly the videos, and of course also the music. And this is where, well, most of the girls are kind of listening. The other kind of goth girl, well, mostly kind of goth looking girls. And this is where, well, Issei gets annoyed also and grabs his computer and just kind of puts it back in his place and just sits down. Of course, he just kind of glances at the girls, and the girls kind of glance at him. Now, of course, they don't really say anything for a good couple of minutes because Issei doesn't really say anything. He instead closes his, like, computer, like his Chromebook, and of course just closes his, like, notebook and kind of puts it back in his book bag. Because Issei doesn't really have any more ideas to detail out the, what's it called, design. And this is where Issei just sits there and literally just puts his head down, falling asleep. Of course, putting his, like, headphones, his earbuds back into his, like, mostly back onto his connection with his phone, just because, well, the reason why he uses a Chromebook to hear music is because most of his phone will usually be draining battery, so of course he just uses a computer instead. Just connect his earbuds and other things. This is where, well, he then puts his earbuds back into connection with his phone and just starts hearing music while falling asleep. He doesn't care. The song that he hears now is called, well, so the song he's hearing is called Wretched and Divine by Black Valley Bridge. But yeah, this is where, well, Issei is hearing the song, and yeah. This is where, well, Issei is right now just hearing the song while falling asleep, but yeah. This is where, well, Issei just doesn't care about, well, mostly what the girls are thinking, but yeah. Mostly they think about the fact that Issei, well, mostly all four of them are right now thinking the same thing. Sweat dropping from the fact that mostly Issei literally just took basically the design of the robot that Issei was designing. At the same time, he did close out his mostly Chromebook, so they won't get any suspicions or any information from what Issei is doing exactly. They managed to take pictures, but of course it wasn't really good pictures. But does it work? Well, mostly, well, the blonde hair girl actually wanted to intervene with Issei's nap, because Issei seems to really be taking a nap and of course hearing music. But this is where, well, mostly the other girls were kind of more interested in the songs that he's hearing, because they noticed that it's kind of like rock, metal, and other songs that he's be hearing. And so of course, well, they are kind of more interested in that. This is where, well, the girl with blondish hair is kind of more interested in the design of the robot. Because, well, she never expected this person to also be an engineer, a robotic engineer. He's quite talented in it. This is where, well, she also blushes on the fact that even though he's quite talented in it, he's also quite cute and hot at the same time. This is where, well, she then kind of shakes those thoughts off her head. She's more of an engineer than mostly as a girl most of the time. So, of course, she needs to act like it most of the time. This is where, well, she coughed into her hand just to get Issei's attention, while the other girls looked at her with confusement. And this is where, well, Issei doesn't budge, and this is where, well, she decides to touch Issei on the kind of like head. Well, mostly just like tap him on the shoulder, and this is where Issei doesn't really want to budge. This is where, well, she kind of tries to shake him. This is where Issei opened one of his eyes and said, "What?" This is where, well, Issei gets up in an instant. Right now, his hand is being covered up his face, and this is where, well, he says, "What do you want?" This is where, well, she actually blushes because even when Issei kind of looked like he's just waking up, he looks quite amazing. But yeah, this is where, well, mostly, she blushes to say, how should I say, why don't you want to talk to us? Issei just says, "You realize, do you even know my status in this classroom?" This is where, well, she kind of shakes her head and says, "I just got here. I'm just a new transfer student. I guess these other girls would also be." "Yeah, we're also transfer students," they kind of just said. This is where, well, mostly Issei nodded and saying, "Okay, so you don't know my status. I work alone. I'm the alone engineer. I don't like working with other people. So that's why I'm alone. I'd rather work alone. I'd rather do my own robot. And if you want to do your own robot, you can do that. I don't really care. I'd rather work alone entirely because, well, working alone is better what I do. I'm like the lone wolf or something." Whatever bullcrap you want to think about it. This is where, well, mostly the girl says, "Wouldn't wolves work together better in a pack?" He says, "I guess you're right, but I'd rather be working alone. Because I can be the black sheep of the wolf or something." Think about it like that. This is where, well, she then kind of just scoffs and says, "Yeah, but if I remember right, all wolves kind of work better in packs. You might think that you're a wolf and actually better to work alone, but it's better to work with every other person like a teammate or, well, other things." Issei sighs and just looks at her. Mostly emeraldish green eyes meets what's it called brownish kind of dull eyes, or mostly brownish kind of dead eyes, while with green dullish eyes. This is where, well, he says his eyes and says, "What's your name exactly?" This is where, well, she blushes an instant, never kind of wondering, well, kind of thinking that Issei would ever ask her name. And this is where, well, she says her name to be, well, so she says the name is Miruma. Yeah, right. Let me say it again. It's so her first name is Mew, and of course her last name is Imruma. And this is where, well, she then says, "I am the gorgeous girl genius." This is where, well, she says self-proclaimed. This is where, well, mostly the other girls are kind of swat chopping at mostly Mew. And this is where, well, mostly he says, "Hey, don't question my ideas." This is where, well, mostly Issei swat chops at this and says, "Okay." This is where Issei says, "What about you three?" This is where, well, the girl with whitish hair, she then says her name as well. She says that her name is Lucenica Kushanada, and of course she then says, "Just call me Lucy." This is where, well, Issei nodded. This is where he looks at the other two. This is where, well, the girl with kind of blackish hair with reddish eyes says that her name is Maiden. And this is where, well, just call her just Maiden, that's all. She doesn't really have a last name. And this is where, well, the kind of one with purplish eyes, she says, "Just call me Sin. I don't really like saying out my real name, so of course, just call me Sin. I rather like that name better." This is where, oh, it says, "Fine. I don't care too much." So, you really just says that you're the proclaimed gorgeous, well, mostly girl genius. This is where, well, you kind of says, "Well, yes." This is where, well, Issei says, "Well, I can understand the gorgeous part. You're quite very beautiful, but not the point." This is where, well, Mew's face becomes even red. And this is where, well, the other girls are surprised. And this is where, well, Issei says, "You're Lucy." I'm just going to call you Lucy because I'm not going to remember your actual freaking name. So I'm just kind of calling you Lucy. Lucy blushes a little bit. And this is where, well, mostly Sin and even Maida, this is where Issei says, "I'm just calling you Sin. Yeah, you know, I don't really want to know your real name because it'd probably be hard for me to pronounce, and I'm just going to call you Sin." And Maida, Yeah, just made it. This worked well. Issei says, did I get all that right? This worked well. Mostly all of them nodded, even with the come here. This worked well. She says, yeah. This worked well. Mostly Issei says. The reason why mostly in this classroom I work better alone is because literally I don't have anyone to talk to. I don't have any friends, well I do, but they're mostly all idiots and I don't think they will be good at robotics all the time. I mean, Angel and even Jorge are good at it. They just rather fight each other most of the time. I mean, me and Jorge can work together, Angel and me. That's a fucking mess of a whole fucking plan. I mean, I can knock him out and do my fucking project by myself. I do my projects by myself better because I don't like dealing with anyone in this goddamn classroom most of the time. I can actually, what's it called, have a conversation with Mr. Johnson because he's actually one of the coolest teachers, in my opinion. With other teacher, I'm really bored out of my mind, but not the point. And yeah, I should also mention my name. You should probably already know who I am, but my name is Issei Jin Stark. This is where Issei said. This is where, well, they nodded, and of course they thought it was Hiro. He says it's also the very last name is Hiro, but I don't really like that name. I decided to take my great-grandfather's name and also my grandfather's last name. Because those are actually the original last names that I should have. But my parents decided to be idiots and really not put those last names. But not the point. This is where, well, the girls kind of nodded more, and this is where, well, Issei said, but that's not the point. You can either call me Issei Stark or even Jin. It doesn't really matter to me. I don't really care. Don't call me Hayadu because I hate that last name. This is where, well, they nodded, and of course, the word, well, Issei says, you can also call me, I don't know what else you can call me. Wolf, alone, worker, whatever. I don't give a damn whatever you call me. Just don't call me pretty boy because I am not a pretty boy. I don't know why people keep saying I'm a pretty boy because I really am too tired for that bullshit to even understand. I look goddamn dead inside, mostly too tired to understand and too mostly don't really care too much. But yeah, this is where, well, they switch up and understand. This is where, well, other than that, mostly in this classroom I work alone, so you already understand that. And I just don't care. Now, what else did I wanted to talk about? Oh yeah, if you really want the, what's it called, designs or robots about the notebook and other things, I can just give it to you. You can read it on your own time. This is where, well, he then looks at mostly Mew and says, you, on the other hand, I really don't want to give you my designs or robots that I did in my past, because you were kind of looking at that. You're looking at that from the beginning of the page, and I noticed that really quick. This is where, well, Mew's face becomes red and says, well, I just wanted to know if you were actually like a genius like me, like someone that actually loves kind of designing robots and other things. Issei says, yes, I am a genius. Well, not entirely I'm a genius, but I just like designing stuff. Mostly robotics or other things. To help me in mostly stuff, but not the point. I only got interested with the fact that mostly my uncle is also someone like that. He's not a genius, but you can say that he's quite a good hard worker in mostly robotics. I mostly got interested in the fact from him, but yeah. Mostly my grandmother also got interested from the fact she also was a pretty good engineer. Of course, she wasn't that good, but she was also quite talented and amazing in it. And so that's why I was interested in most of the time. So that's why I picked this classroom to be one of my favorites. Also, Mr. Johnson's quite cool to just be around with. But that's not the point here or there. This is where, well, they nodded, and this is where, well, most of you kind of says, I see. So, can I see your old projects? I probably dismantle almost all of them. I think you can see the latest one that I have dismantled. This is where, well, Issei went to his locker room and decided to kind of go get, well, not locker room, mostly there's lockers in what's it called, the classroom, and where to kind of put the robots. And this is where he goes to get his old one and just puts it right in the front of the table. This is where, well, mostly Mew is kind of seeing this, and right now kind of amazed. So, of course, they literally have to work with kind of plastic and some metal in the robots, and this is where, well, she is kind of just looking around and how it kind of works. And this is where Issei went to get a Chromebook, mostly a kind of tablet, and of course decides to sign in and there's some other things. And this is where, well, he goes to his old kind of programming machinery kind of thing for like his robotics, mostly his robots. And this is where, well, he started kind of programming into doing what it needs to do. This is where, well, it's pretty much be able to pick up stuff at the same time, kind of use light and of course censoring other things in this where, well, Issei says, so this is what I did last time. Of course, I didn't fully test it out to kind of go on a project and explain this. One of you can actually do that. I don't like talking. I'd rather get a fucking zeros from me talking. I don't care. This is where, well, mostly they switch up and mostly Issei, but yeah. This is where, well, it's just other than that. This is what I did last time. This is where, well, mostly Mr. Johnson is kind of surprised in how Issei's easily talking to the girls. He thought he would see a stuttering mess Issei just get nervous with the girls. But of course he's quite different. This is where, well, Mr. Johnson kind of smiles, thinking it was a good idea to put Issei with the girls. The kind of newer kind of transfer girls, but yeah. This is where, well, some of the guys usually do lust for the girls, and this is where, well, Mr. Johnson didn't really want to put them with the other guys, and decides to just put them all together. Even with Issei. And of course, he knows that Issei was a pervert, but no longer a pervert. Because mostly Issei is now a complete badass most of the time. And usually doesn't care too much. He also knows that Issei does use guns, so yeah, that's a good protection for mostly these girls, but yeah. But that's not the point here, though. But this is where, well, we go into mostly Issei kind of explaining how this works, and this is where Issei kind of looks at his phone and notice that mostly it's almost time to go. So this is where Issei decided to put the robot project back in his, what's it called, the latest one, back into the locker room, and decides kind of dismantle it tomorrow. This is where, well, Issei is still kind of hearing music, and this is where, well, the song he's hearing right now is called so the song is called So What. Yeah, so it's just called So What. And made by 3 Days of Grace, and of course this is where, well, it just goes, so what if I'm crazier than crazy, so what if I'm sicker than sick, so what if I'm out of control, maybe that's what I like about it. Done. Yeah, you get the point. This is where, well, Issei was about to pause the music until he realized, well, where's his other earbud? Because he did take, what's it called, his right earbud, so he can actually talk to the girls. This is where, well, he noticed, what's it called, his earbuds was not in his case because he had them in his ear and then realized one of them was a habit. This is where Issei decides to pause the music in an instant, even though he doesn't like doing that because he keeps wanting to hear the song. And this is where, well, one of them kind of decides to kind of tap their ear real fast. And this is where, well, just trying to make sure that Issei didn't see them. But Issei already noticed him, and it's none other than Luna that had, what's it called, Issei's kind of earbud. And this is where Issei says, what are you doing? This is where, well, well, not Luna, mostly Lucy kind of just blushes and says, nothing. Issei takes out the earbud out of her ear and says, really? This is where, well, Issei just blows on it, and this is where, well, Issei puts it back in his ear and says, really? You took that shit? This is where, well, Lucy says, it's not my fault. Most of the other songs that you hear were actually pretty good. I like all of them. This is where, well, Issei swatches and says, don't you really have your own phone? You can listen on your own phone. My own phone really died a while ago. This is where Issei swatches and says, really? This is where, well, mostly Lucy says, it's not my fault. Can I just please hear it? This is where, well, Issei said, this is where, well, Issei kind of say, no, because I'm gonna hear it by myself, walking away, getting towards my house. But yeah, this is where, well, Lucy kind of just looks at him with just a pout, but mostly a pout. And this is where, well, Issei says, so fucking cute. This is where, well, Issei thinks in his head. And this is where, well, Diedrich says, wow, 4 more girls into our harem. You know, Issei, you should just tell them just to go out with you. Just bring him along with, what's it called, your other 4, mostly 4 kind of dates. This is where, well, Issei kind of ignores Diedrich, and this is where Diedrich says, Issei, stop ignoring me! This is where, well, Issei kind of just says, huh? This is where, well, mostly Lucy kind of snapped her fingers just to kind of see what Issei was staring into. Issei says, sorry, I just kind of lost track on something. This is where, well, mostly Lucy looks confused, but this is where Issei said, oh, nothing, I need to be going then. This is where, well, Issei did grab his book backpack because he only had like 5 minutes left, or mostly it was like 2 minutes left. And this is where, well, Issei was kind of getting ready to kind of go home. But yeah, of course, this is where, well, mostly the door kind of opened up really fast because mostly 2 people were rushing in. It was none other than Jorge and Anhen. Well, not Jorge and Anhen. It was none other than Matsuda and Murahama. And this is where they say, Issei! They tried to attack Issei when Issei was about to like get up the stairs to kind of like get out. But yeah, because there's only like there's like 3 steps of stairs for you to get up before you kind of leave the classroom. But yeah, this is where, well, Issei was about to get up there until mostly two Matsuda and Murahama kind of jumps out of the door. Mostly opens it and then tries to attack Issei. Issei notices and Issei reacted fast enough to just side kick both of them to the side of the head, knocking them out in an instant. Into the railing, because there was a kind of blue railing knocking them out. This is where Issei says, "You annoying bastards. Always annoying me, jackasses." This is where Issei got so angry and wanted to just kill them, but this is where, well, Issei decides not to because, well, yeah, he's not really trying to be a murderer. Issei decides to say, sorry about that, Mr. Johnson. Let me just grab these idiots and throw them outside. This is where, well, we'll see Issei grabs both of them and just tosses them outside. This is where Mr. Johnson just chuckles and just says, nah, it's fine. It was quite interesting to see that. Even though my plan fell in the first place to seeing you suffer, but, you know, it was quite interesting to see those two get knocked out. This is where, well, Issei kind of glares at Mr. Johnson and says, really? I knew that was your fucking plan the whole time. Whatever. This is where, well, we'll see Issei is quite talented in mostly martial arts, and Mr. Johnson actually just saw that for the first experience. Even the others who were in the class just wind their eyes when Issei literally kicked both Matsuda and even Murahama really fast. Like, he had the reaction so quick that knocking them both out and just tossing them outside. But yeah, mostly outside the classroom. This is where, well, mostly everyone kind of realized, yeah, not to fuck with Issei. Even though Issei does fight against Angel and even Jorge most of the time, because, well, mostly Jorge might have actually pissed off Issei with something, or even Angel did the same. Yeah, they would start fighting, but yeah. Now, of course, people have only seen glimpses of them fighting because mostly Angel would be like pushing them into somewhere else and trying to fight them into close combat, while Issei would literally kick the shit out of Angel in the face while kind of grabbing Jorge's arm and then throwing him straight to Angel, but yeah. So, of course, not many people have seen the battle because they have to really be careful not to get one of them tossed at each other, but yeah, or tossed towards them. But yeah, this is where, well, Issei sweat drops, but this is where, well, he realizes his earbud is now gone from his ear, and then notice Lucy kind of having it, and this is where she puts it in her ear and just starts running away when the bell kind of rings. This is where Issei was about to react fast enough to grab her, until mostly she ran past him. This is where Issei says, Lucy, get back here! This is where, well, Issei gets angry and annoyed and starts running after her. This is where Issei would have used Sonido to kind of get there faster, but of course he's not trying to reveal that ability. This is where, well, mostly Lucy says, no! I'm gonna listen to your songs. I don't care. Issei really would pause the music, but of course, she could probably already unpause it from the earbud, but yeah. Issei's getting annoyed and just rushing after her, and this is where, well, the other girls watch on, but decide to follow along. This is where, well, we'll see from the group. This is where, well, Issei says, damn it, Lucy, stop running. This is where, well, Lucy says, no. You are going to have to, well, let me hear all the songs. This is where, well, Issei says, that is not going to happen. I have over about like 300 songs in that playlist. That's not going to happen. This is where, well, Lucy says, well, that's going to be too bad. You're going to have to wait around me until your phone either dies or you're going to kind of let me have your playlist. This is where, well, Issei sweat drops and says, Lucy, get back here and get my earbud. This is where, well, mostly Lucy says, no. This is where, well, Issei gets annoyed. But yeah. Of course, where Issei doesn't really mind the view what he sees behind her, and of course, she does have a nice kind of figure of mostly a yeah, you get the point. Mostly nice assets, and this is where, well, mostly Dietrich says, yeah, keep looking at that, Issei. I mean, I wouldn't mind. If I was you, I wouldn't not let that, what's it called, nice round. This is where Issei says, Dietrich, can you shut the fuck up? You have been in my ear for the past, I don't know, like the whole day, kind of telling me what the fuck to do. I am not going to just do that to her. This is where, well, mostly Dietrich says, come on, you're a dragon. You should act like one. I'm not a dragon. I'm a human, jackass. I didn't accept any deals with you, so fuck off. That's where, well, Dietrich says, well, you have me, so act like what you are supposed to be, like a dragon. Issei says, no. This is where, well, mostly Issei noticed Lucy is trying to hide behind mostly a corner. And of course, Issei noticed this, but of course, Issei was going to run past her. Which he did, but of course, just to act like it. This is where he then hides behind a wall. This is where, well, mostly Lucy kind of noticed the other girls and says, hey. This is where, well, mostly they switch up and says, Lucy, did you really have to take the earbud of Issei's? This is where, well, mostly Lucy says, well, not really, but it was kind of fun, kind of running away from him. He's quite, I don't know, how should I say, hot most of the time, and I actually wanted to see him. How good was he at running? Maybe he's built very well. I thought he would catch up to me quite fast, but it didn't happen. This is where, well, one of them named Sin kind of says maybe he was just letting you run faster than him because he didn't want to show off his speed. This is where Lucy says, nah, that can't be possible. This is where, well, mostly Lucy was just kind of walking next to the other girls. This is where, well, the other girls were kind of just sweatshopping at Lucy. This is where, well, Lucy says, other than that, well, I should give him his earbud tomorrow. Well, I don't really have any other classroom with him, but of course, this is where they're walking outside through that little entrance that Issei kind of run past, and this is where, well, before she can even react, her earbud, mostly from her ear, was taken out in an instant by Issei. By mostly using 2 fingers, but yeah, mostly his index and middle finger, and this is where, well, he took it out and put it in his earbud. Issei says, this is where, well, it scared the shit out of all the girls in an instant after hearing mostly Issei cough. And this is where Lucy realized one thing. Her earbud's gone and Issei's right there standing. Issei says, so, what was that you saying about giving it to me, well, not next day, mostly on Monday? This is where, well, mostly Lucy blushing in an instant say, this is where she was blushing madly and just looking away, but yeah. This is where Lucy was kind of pushed, well, not blushing, mostly blushing, and this is where, well, she say, how did you, this is where Issei says, do you think I didn't notice you trying to hide behind that corner? Yeah, I wasn't stupid. Instead, I hide behind the wall and grab the earbud out of your ear so I can actually then scare the shit out of you by coughing. This is where, well, mostly Lucy says, this is where her face was red, and this is where Issei says, quite cute when you're blushing. This is where, well, Lucy's face became entirely red, 50 shades of red, and this is where she looked away. This is where, well, the other girls were just sweatshopping. This is where, well, Issei said, other than that, this is where, well, Issei kind of just pat her in the head, saying, good, nice try, but that ain't happening to me. You are not going to just run off on my earbud this time. This is where, well, Issei kind of just puts his earbuds into his, like, mostly case, and of course, this is where, well, he puts it into his coat. And this is where, well, he says, other than that, I'll be leaving. This is where, well, mostly, Lucy gets angry and says, why you? This is where, well, she's kind of, like, activates something from her kind of, like, hand. Well, mostly something underneath her kind of, like, coat hand. Well, yeah, like, strings. And this is where, well, she tries to kind of grab Issei's kind of arm before he puts a case into his, like, mostly coat. Until mostly Mew kind of says, wait, no, wait, you're part of the... This is where, well, mostly, Lucy was about to kind of grab it until Issei grabs it in an instant. Mostly, it didn't hit him at all. It literally just missed entirely because Issei flashed, mostly did a tornado and dodged out of the way. This is where mostly Lucy wind her eyes and says, how do you, this is where Issei appeared behind her and put his hand right now over her mouth and says, don't you dare scream. This is where, well, Issei said with a very cold and menacing voice. This is where, well, Lucy's face was all red, but of course she was nervous. With the other girls kind of winding their eyes, this is where, well, Issei says, interesting ability you had there. Either that's part of, like, a machinery you have in your body, or that was something part of the supernatural. This is where, well, he said, let's go for mouth, and this is where Lucy says, how do you know about the supernatural? Actually, better question, what are you? This is where, well, he says, I'm not a devil, I'm not an angel, I'm not a fallen angel, stop making me human. I'm not a dragon either. So, yeah, I'm human. Kinda. But not the point. This is where, well, mostly Lucy kind of glares at him and says, I see. So, you could have used that technique a while ago and could have easily caught up to me. Yes, but I did not want to show the supernatural. Or mostly not the supernatural, the humans. This is where, well, mostly Lucy nodded. I see. This is where Mew says, so does that make you a part of the supernatural somewhat? This is where Issei says, kinda. I was used to be in the Devil Project if you want to kind of hear about that. Mostly, Mew kind of seems interested about the Devil Project. This is where, well, Mew did kind of question how the Devil Project was. It's just quite annoying. Also, just to tell you a fair warning, the student president's office is a bunch of devils, and of course, the student council president herself is actually the devil, like, leader. Of course, the Occult Research Club is also devil, so yeah, I'm just telling you now, so you won't get involved with them. But yeah. This is where, well, all 4 of them nodded, and this is where, well, they're kind of blushing how Issei is quite chill and relaxed. He's mostly more relaxed. This is where, well, they're kind of walking outside. Well, mostly, yeah, managing to get out of the school by through an exit and just walking outside. This is where, well, mostly Issei is walking. Of course, he was getting to the Candle Club just to kind of talk to mostly Moriyama, Catherine, and even what's it called, mostly Mira, to kind of ask when they were going on a date. Mostly the date to kind of be either a Sunday or Saturday, but yeah, because Issei forgot to even mention that. This is where, well, mostly Issei gets to the Kennel Club, and of course, this is where, well, the Kennel Girls should be finishing around this time because they just finished. This is where, well, a bunch of like girls are kind of just walking out of the class, or just mostly out of the club. Of course, are all finished and changed and other stuff. That's where, well, they notice Issei, and this is where, well, mostly they're blushing and of course looking at Issei, and of course Issei isn't wearing the school uniform. He's wearing basically just this so pretty much he's just wearing what's it called? Well, he is wearing the school uniform, but this is where, well, the girls are kind of blushing. This is where, well, they're kind of just seeing Issei, while mostly a bunch of them are actually stopping to actually kind of just thank Issei. This is where, well, mostly the Kennel leaders were confused, but this is where they walk towards where mostly all the girls kind of stop. And this is where all of them bow down and say, thank you, Issei-kun. This is where, well, mostly all of them just runs off after a while. Issei looks confused, but this is where, well, Moriyama, Catherine, and even Mira kind of says, so why are you here, Issei? This is where, well, Issei kind of snapped out of his, what's it called, confusement. Even the other girls were confused. But this is where, well, Issei says, oh, sorry about that. I just came here to even ask you girls when you want to go out. This is where, well, the other 4 girls that were behind mostly Issei just shocked and confused. This is where, well, they also have a little tint of jealousy a little bit. Even Lucy. This is where, well, mostly both Mira, Catherine, and even Moriyama kind of blushes and say, oh, yeah, right, we didn't really have anything planned, and we didn't really share phone numbers, did we? Issei says, yeah, that's why I came here before we left. This is where, well, mostly Moriyama decides to give Issei her phone number, and of course Issei gave his. This is where, well, Moriyama says, I will text mostly Mira and even Catherine about. This is where, well, they kind of just literally gave out their phone straight towards Issei, so literally he gives out his phone number towards them. This is where, well, mostly Issei kind of just like puts his phone number into their phones, and this is where, well, mostly Moriyama gets a little tint of jealousy a little bit, but this is where, well, mostly Issei said, so, when do you want to go out? This is where, well, mostly Moriyama says, maybe this Saturday? Sunday? I don't know. I don't really know about my schedule on Saturday or Sunday. This is where, well, Moriyama and, what's it called? Not Moriyama. Mostly Mira and Catherine says, yeah, I don't know much. This is where Mira says, I was going to just be training on, what's it called? Mostly Saturday. But if we're going out on Saturday, then I will kind of get ready. This is where, well, you say nodded. This is where, well, mostly Issei, well, was going to start leaving until mostly Moriyama questioned who the girls over there are. This is where Issei says, oh, they're part of mostly my team on mostly robotics. Since Mr. Johnson thought it would be a great idea to screw me over instead of working alone, he decided to put me in a team. This is where, well, Moriyama switches off and says, I see. Huh. That could have been our fault, wasn't it? Kinda. When I decided to help you girls, I did also mostly talk to you girls, and of course mostly 10 minutes late towards my 7th hour, making Mr. Johnson had the greatest brilliant idea to put me on a team. This is where, well, mostly Mariam says sorry. This is where Issei says, no, it's fine. I just have to probably work alone in the next project or whatever. This is where, well, mostly Mariam nodded. This is where, well, mostly the other girls had a tint of mostly jealousy. And this is where Mew kind of says, so wait, who are these people? This is where, well, Issei kind of says, oh, right, I should introduce yourself. This is where Issei kind of introduced the 4 girls right next to him. Of course, being, what's it called? The mostly Mew, Lucy, Sin, and even Megda. And of course, then introduced him towards mostly Moriyama, Catherine, and even Mira. Yeah. Mira, yo, and this is where, well, mostly all of them kind of introduce themselves, and this is where, well, mostly Mew kind of says, so what do you mean about going out? This is where, well, Moriyama says, oh, this is where Moriyama has a little evilish grin, because she noticed that Mew kind of has a little jealousy look, and this is where, well, Moriyama says, oh, you see here, Issei's my boyfriend, and of course we're going out on a date on whenever we have time. This is where, well, mostly she had to just have a little grin. Well, Issei thought that this would probably be a bad idea. This is where, well, Diedrich says, ah, I see. Introducing your what's it called, girlfriends to your other girlfriends. Now, that's not a bad idea, but you know this is going to be chaotic. Issei says, what do you mean? Again, I might have said that Moriyama, Catherine, even Amira would be my girlfriends, but what do you mean my other girlfriends? Oh, don't play dumb with me, Issei. I know about those other girls. You see, here I've been watching you, and I'm just telling you, it's a bad idea. This is where Issei says, you mean Lucy, Mew, Sin, and Maiden? What do you talk about girlfriends? They're literally just a part of my what's called team on robotics. This is where, well, DJ says, oh, that's not what they actually see in you. They see in you to be a potential boyfriend for them. He says, what do you mean? Oh, have you not noticed the jealousy looks they kind of give you when you're actually talking to mostly Mariama, Catherine, and even, what's it called, Mira? They're quite jealous and actually kind of even more jealous on the fact that you are actually dating them. Maybe you should just kind of agree upon that you should date all of them. This is where, well, he says, no. That would just be more of a headache towards me. Oh, come on, it would be more of a headache right now. You see here, all of them are just glaring at each other. Issei starts up and says, I should probably step in. This is where, well, mostly Issei gets annoyed, but this is where, well, Issei's eyes right now glow blue and green in an instant. This is where Issei says, listen up, all of you. This is where all of them just listen up, and of course, they heard the stern voice of Issei. Issei says, can you all stop just kind of getting angry at each other? How about this? I will decide to just go out with all of you, if that will make you happy and actually stop making, well, each other fight. This is where, well, all of them blushes in an instant, becoming nothing but blushing messes. This is where Moriyama says, wait, what? So how many people would that be? 8 in total? Issei says, oh, right. Damn it, D-Drake. This is where D-Drake laughs and seeing how Issei thought it would be cool enough to actually stop them in an instant, probably just proposing that. And this is where he just realized that it was just stupid. This is where D-Drake is chuckling and laughing, saying, wow, now that's a brave person right there. You managed to calm down all 8 and turn them all into just blushing messes. But of course, now you're wondering, how will you deal with 8 girls? He says, oh, I hate you, you stupid dragon. Why the hell did I listen to you? But you didn't. I was just telling you to propose to them. This is where, well, he says, shut the hell up already. This is where, well, he said, sorry, but I wasn't thinking. You were all just kind of giving me a headache. This is where all of them switch up. So this is where Issei kind of says, sorry. I don't really know how to do that. I was just thinking of kind of going 4 girls at a time on mostly one date, but I don't know about my schedule. So when I find my schedule and what it is, I'll probably have to go on a date with either all 8 of you on just one day, or probably, yeah, I don't actually know. This is where Issei gets a text from his phone because he hears a ding, and this is where, well, mostly Issei kind of looks at his phone and realizes he has to go on a mission. Mostly today. And this is where, well, even what's it called, tomorrow. This is where Issei switches up and says, never mind. So yeah, it seems like someone already called me for a bounty hunt. And it's going to take me either 2 days. So mostly today I will have to go on it, and then tomorrow. How about Sunday? This is where Issei said. This is where, well, mostly all of them nodded, even though they're all still blushing messes. This is where, well, mostly Issei says, other than that, I should be going then. Issei just waves him bye, and this is where, well, Issei says, I gotta be going then. Bye. Issei then uses Sonido in an instant to disappear. This is where, well, mostly all of them kind of just looked at each other, and they're still looking at blushing messes because mostly what Issei just said. Of course, this is where, well, they weren't expecting to kind of have too many girls on one date. Well, Issei wasn't expecting that, but yeah. Issei gets to his house, which he's kind of just getting towards his house in an instant by being on top of the, well, mostly not on top, he's just kind of running towards his house, mostly at the Kyoto's, just to kind of get prepared because he still has his clothing there, but whatever. He can go to the Yakuza, but for right now, he's going to the Kyoto's. But yeah, before he gets to the Kyoto's, he was accidentally almost about to bump into, what's it called, an orange-haired girl with kind of mostly mostly purplish eyes. This is where, well, he says, oh shit. This is where he says he stopped himself in an instant before he actually bumped into her entirely. Well, he actually did. He actually just smashed his head into her, and this is where, well, he says, ow. Sorry about that. This is where, well, the girl kind of says, ow, ow, ow. This is where she looks up and says, ow, can you look where you, Issei. This is where she jumps up in an instant. This is where Issei says, oh, you're basically Iron's little sister. This is where, well, she says, shut up for a second. I'm not Iron's little sister. I'm Irina. I'm Irina Shibi, whatever the hell her last name is. But that's not the point. There is no person named Iron in my family. Iron is just a person I made up mostly as a first name when we were children, and I lied about me being a boy instead of a girl, okay? That's why I want you to stop calling me Iron. This is where, well, Issei said, huh? So, let me get this straight. Issei gets up in an instant. You lied about your name entirely. Instead of calling yourself Irina, you said that your name was Iron? Why though? This is where Irina says, because if I didn't lie about my name, I was going to wonder if you were still gonna let me play with you guys, with you, Angel and Matsura and Murahama. I had to lie because there was not many girls in the park. He says, I see. Well, I guess, yeah, lying to your name because we probably would have, I don't know. Never mind. I guess you're right. Maybe we wouldn't let you play. Maybe we would. I don't know. This is what Irina says. That's why I lied, okay? Can you please just call me Irina? Or Irina-chan? This is where she kind of blushes a little bit. This is where Issei said, sure, Irina. This is where, well, he didn't put Chan in the N. And this is where, well, Irina gets a little bit angry. But of course, this is where she sighs. This is where, well, Issei gets up and says, sorry about bumping into you. This is where, well, he noticed Irina's group, mostly of friends. Mostly a girl with kind of bluish hair and a greenish highlight. And of course, having like these yellowish eyes. And this is where, well, mostly the other two are, well, so yeah, she has kind of hazish, yellowish eyes. Of course, the other girls are mostly a girl with kind of blondish but shortish hair. Of course, this is where she kind of has it like yellowish, with kind of yellowish eyes. Of course, she has a nice assets and mostly for both sides, opai and even back. And this is where, well, Issei kind of blushes. And of course, the where, well, he then looks at the other girl, which she also has a nice, mostly both sides. But of course, where, well, she kind of has blondish hair, kind of like rose kind of blondish hair. This is where, well, she kind of has like these reddish, orangey eyes. And this is where, well, she looks stoic while her other friend looks kind of energetic. This is where, well, similar to that of Irina and Zenobia. But yeah. This is where, well, Issei said sorry about kind of bumping into your friend. This is where Issei kind of apologizes to the group. And this is where, well, Irina says, this is where Irina says, what about us? Aren't we friends? This is where Irina wanted the question to say that, which she kind of said in a whisper, and this is where Issei managed to catch it, and says, friends? We were childhood friends, but that was because you said your name was Iron. I wouldn't say you're my best friend or any of that, Irina. This is where Irina gets saddened. But I guess we can start a friendship now. I mean, aren't you a part of the church or something? This is why Irina winds her eyes. Is it? How do you know that? Right, you're a devil. Forgot about that. We can't be friends, Issei. He says, wait. I'm not a devil. I don't really have any demonic magic inside me at all. Even the evil pieces I ripped it out of my body a while ago. That's why Irina says, wait, you. Did you just say you ripped out the evil pieces? Did you shove your hand into your body and rip them out like that? Issei says, oh, that's exactly what I did. Irina winds her eyes and says, are you crazy? This is where Issei says, wait, before you kind of go on if I'm crazy or something, but if I still have the demonic energy. I noticed that holy sword next to you. This is where Irina says, you did? This is where Issei says, summon it out for a second and stab me in the arm. This is where Irina says, what? No. Holy weapons are allergic to, well, mostly devils are allergic to holy weapons. Issei says, I want to prove it that I'm no longer a devil. So, just to make sure that your conscience is happy. This is where Irina decides to do it. And of course, she was afraid to do it. But of course, Issei grabbed the sword in the instant and just stabbed his hand with it. Mostly just slit his hand with it. This is where, well, bleeding. And of course, not burning him at all. See? This is where Irina says, are you crazy? Issei says, kinda, but not the point. Well, my hand isn't burning, and I'm not dying from the holy energy. So, aren't you happy? This is where Irina says, yes, that means you're no longer a devil, but how? Issei says, short, do you want me to explain the long term or short term? This is where, well, Irina says, I just want to explain it. Short term, I just ripped them out of my body, and the demonic energy wasn't flowing through me, because I asked someone to seal it in the Yakuza. This is where, not the point. Mostly, I work with the Yakuza, but not the point. This is where Irina says, wait, what? This is where Yakuza steal evil pieces? Rip them out? This is where, well, Issei says, wow, I fried her brain so easily. This is where the other people are kind of shocked and surprised and quite amazed with Issei's kind of talent of managing to get rid of the evil pieces and other things and demonic energy. This is where, well, Issei says, Irina, are you okay? Irina's, her brain just short circuit after a while. This is where, well, one of them, mostly a girl with blondish hair and short hair, kind of just grabs Irina and says, Irina, are you okay? This is where she's shaking her, and this is where she says, she's going to be fine. She seems to just short circuit too easily. Irina's just, this is where, well, Issei says, yeah, that's interesting. This is where, well, Issei says, so what's your name? This is where, well, the girl says, oh, the name's Anise. This is where Issei says, you, the bluish hair girl? The name's Zenobia Quarter. Okay, what about you, Rappy? This is where Issei says, okay, well, take care of Irina because I think she's really just gone from this world for a second. But not the point, I'll be going home. Other than that, bye. This is where Issei uses Sonita just so he doesn't talk to Irina anymore. This is where Irina says, wait, where did they have that he go? Damn it! This is where, well, mostly Zenobia, was it called Rappy and Anise were surprised with Issei just teleporting out of the way. Or was that just speed? They can't tell. But Issei's getting to the house in an instant, rushing inside, which when he opens the door in an instant, he sees his two parents sitting down, three other figures right now kind of sitting down, mostly, well, not sitting down, they're kind of like, yeah, sitting down, and of course, where, well, Issei kind of sees the three figures and mostly his parents, ignores them entirely, but of course, one of the figures says, so, you're Issei Hyoto. This is where, well, Issei kind of glares at the person in an instant from the fact they call him Hyoto instead of mostly Issei Jin Spartan, or mostly not Spartan, mostly Jin Stark Hyoto, but of course Hyoto. This is where Issei says, I'm not gonna lie, I don't care who exactly you people are. Mom, Dad, don't care neither. I'm gonna go live with my uncle for a while. Actually, not for a while, for the entire year when I'm in Kuo. Actually, probably I won't even be there that long. I'll probably drop out later. But that's not the point here or there. When I kind of turn 18, I'm dropping out. Fuck that. But that's not the point here or there. I'm gonna live with my uncle. You people can go fuck off. If you wanna go on a vacation, you can do that. I'm gonna go live with my uncle. Even Aunt Saina and Zenon, I'm gonna go live with them. Other than that, bye. This is where Issei goes up to his room in an instant, rushing up there. And of course, this is where he does use Sonita, but he doesn't care. This is where he gets up there, starts grabbing everything, starts throwing it into the Gargantua, and just starts tossing it into his room and mostly the Yakuzas. This is where, well, he just tosses everything in there, mostly everything that it needed in his room. He still has those, like, magazines and other things, and mostly posters that are basically H anime and plus 18. This is where Issei doesn't take any of that. He could sell it, but he doesn't. He probably won't get that much or whatever. So of course he just decides to ignore all that stuff. I mean, he just tidy up his room, puts it all on the bed, and decides to just ignore it. Of course, he grabs the important stuff like his clothes and other things, whatever. And this is where, well, he gets downstairs. This is where, well, he just kind of puts it all there. This is where, well, he did change his clothing to kind of looking similar to that of like Stark. Mostly the kind of white, mostly white coats, white pants, and white shoes. But yeah, not the point. Or mostly not white shoes. Black socks and white shoes, but not the point. Like white sandals. But this is where, well, Issei kind of gets downstairs, and this is where, well, he sees the three figures right in front of the door with mostly his parents. And this is where, well, Issei says, what are you doing? This is where, well, mostly one of them has kind of like blondish hair and blackish kind of hair also. Kind of have magenta eyes and saying, so you're Issei Hayato. This is where, well, mostly Issei knows his parents. So this is where his parents says, Issei, what do you mean you're gonna go with your uncle and live with him for a while? Issei says, like you heard me, I'm gonna live with them. Other than that, move out of my way. This is where Issei said with an annoyed tone. This is where, well, mostly the person with kind of like magenta eyes says, oh come on kid, you don't need to be rude to me. Besides, I was one of your contractors when you were a devil. Or you're still a devil, but not the point. This is where, well, mostly Issei says, ha, devil. Yeah, that's not a fucking thing with me. I ripped out those damn pieces out of my body in an instant. I ripped them out and threw them right in front of that damn bitch, right underneath her feet, and didn't give a goddamn fuck. This is where, well, mostly the fallen angel, yes, there's another Azo. He was just like shocked and say, but that would have killed you. Issei says, and yet it didn't fucking kill me. It made me stronger. What doesn't kill me makes me. Yeah, Issei starts kind of just like trolling by singing that song. And Issei didn't really care, but this is where Issei says, other than that, fuck off. This is where, well, Issei gets annoyed. This is where, well, Issei does have his sword next to him just in case he might have to go into Resurrection Los Lobos. And this is where, well, this is where Issei kind of puts up his earbuds into his ear, and of course, this is where he puts a song, My Fight. That's called, come up, get up, get up, get up, get up. I'ma show you everything I got inside. I won't give up. Wait. So, you know what, now, I'm gonna change it towards the prong song called Fight. And basically, what it says in the, mostly, let me say it again. So this is how it sounds like, and of course, this is where it will. The song is kind of playing, this is where it will. Well, yeah, you get the point. If you want to hear the prong, you can just go search it up. It's basically made by Moon. Fuck, I forgot what it's called, but whatever. Of course, where, well, Issei is kind of just getting ready just to fight these people, and this is where, well, the two figures gets ready to make mostly a magic circle appear until Issei says, fine, if you want to fight, then I guess I don't have any time for this bullcrap. This is where, well, mostly Issei's father was about to say, Issei, wait, we're not here to fight you. We're here to just kind of question a little bit about mostly, this is where Issei says, Resurrection! Los Lobos. This is where, well, Issei right now transformed into his form right now. And this is where, well, mostly they're surprised, of course, where, well, Azo isn't surprised because he's seen this before. And this is where Issei right now puts his blast right in front of him. And this is where, well, Issei says, Cero. Metralleta. This is where, well, Azo screams at everyone to duck right now. This is where, well, multiple blasts are rushing straight towards the hero's exit. This is where everyone had to dodge in an instant. Those who were trying to make a magic circle right now had to dodge also. This is where, well, Issei right now flies out of the way by kind of just using Tornado to get through the exit and say, fuck you guys, bye. This is where, well, Issei kind of just disappears in an instant by kind of just flying up in the air. Without wings. He doesn't need to fly up in the air without wings. He's just using Tornado just to go up in the air and just ding, 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 ding. But yeah, he's gone. This is where Elsa says, okay, that kid said, fuck the whole explainment and let me just fucking disappear. Holy shit, I almost died. This is where we'll see the other two figures says, what should we do, Azo? This is where Elsa says, we should not try to piss off that kid because that kid would try to kill us in an instant. So it's a better idea not to piss him off. This is where, well, mostly one of the figures says, so should we leave? This is where before they can even leave, a shot went into their leg in an instant like a blue shot. This is where they say, ah, damn it, what the hell? Okay, he's a sniper rifle now. This is where Elsa's looking around until he noticed Issei right now has a sniper rifle. Yes, Issei transformed both of his guns into a sniper rifle, which he can do, and this is where instead of having pistols, Issei says, that's what you fucking get, assholes. You were not trying to take me out alive. This is where Issei right now aimed for the other person and shot him also in the leg. This is where both of them are right now screaming in pain. This is where Issei aims for Azo and Azo notices, and this is where Azo tries to hide behind a wall. This is where Azo almost gets shot, but this is where Issei says, you want to just ignore these bastards. This is where Issei right now just transformed both of his guns back to normal, goes back into a normal form, and right now disappears. Just flash tip away from all of them. But yeah, this is where, well, Azo says, he didn't kill me. Thank goodness. Because I would have died. Thank goodness. This is where, well, thanks to my father that's diseased already, but whatever, or kind of dead already. But this is where, well, we'll see, Azo says, are you two okay? This is where both of them say, no, we're not okay, Azo. This is where, well, we'll see Issei's parents are just kind of shocked and dumbfounded on how powerful Issei has got him. Even without the supposedly sacred gear that he has, and power and magic power that he supposedly has. Because they were there to kind of unseal something from him, but mostly Issei didn't want to. Issei didn't even know about anything, but he didn't care. He just fucking ran away, but yeah. Just flew, fucking used his Tornado and teleport away from them, but yeah. But this is where all of them just got switched off, but yeah. Other than that, we go into Issei's mission, but this is where I'm actually going to leave it off for kind of part 1 of this, or not part 1, damn it, why the hell did I say part 1? Part 7 of this What If. Other than that, Hope you guys like part 7. Yes, it's going pretty far, but other than that, bye, see you, and yeah.